All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Everyday Upland. Well, there's some updates for Upland. They've dropped their economic update for August 2022. Um, I've read through it twice, and there's certain parts that I did economics in college. I didn't really do it in high school. Should have done it in high school, but I grasped the macro side a lot more than I did the micro side of economics. And if I'm understanding correctly, this is the microeconomics of Upland, right? So one thing I'm gonna start off with, I will congratulate those people who have transferred their NFT to USD program and has successfully, done well in the game and has pulled some money out and are moving on or just pulling money out just to have some cash. That is great. It's a good look. It shows that the game is actually something where you can make money from. It's not just sinking money into it and hoping for a return. There's a potential. And I do believe these are some of the early investors in the game who've been in it for maybe over or close to 2 years. I think the game's about 3 years old. It dropped in 2019. So, in this economic update, they kind of just talked about how Upland, how the speed of Upland and what's happening, their partnerships, Meta Motors, the manufacturing factories, and this partnership that they have with Porto Soccer Club and Rio, the recently launched first Genesis International City. And they have things that are coming out, and they're just going to keep dropping them, so look out for more things coming. So they kind of talked about and expanded on the whole upland pool versus or upland pool and community pool. I did a video on the 18th of July talking about markups, right? And in that video, I illustrated how the game may be a little stagnant because of not too many transactions are happening in the game. Which what happens is that every time there is a transaction, a portion of that transaction goes to the community pool, and some of it also goes to the upland pool. So the upland pool is used for marketing and development and bringing in new features into the game, right? So they did talk about further down in this article of getting more UPEX into the game. So I guess they can double down on their development as well as partnerships and advertising, right? Which is something that we all feel as uplanders that upland team needs to do is more advertising and getting it out there. Well, the game has grown a lot. At one point I was tracking the daily, if not weekly, levels of new users or how many UPX holders are into the game. As far as I see, it's back to about the same level as Queens. It had dropped off from 310 and dropped down under 300,000, just under. I think the worst it went to was about 287 if I remember correctly, and I haven't checked in a while, but I've checked recently. I checked maybe about 4 days ago, and then this economic update came out, and I checked again today, and it's at the same level. So since the release of the of Rio, it hasn't dropped, which has been a pattern that I've noticed with a lot of the city releases. Even though it hasn't been a week yet, maybe next week I'll check up on that and do a video on that and a report on that. but the user base or UPX holders kind of drops off, and it drops off by 1,000 at a time, right? But I'm assuming because Rio's that Genesis City International City, and the number two players are from Rio. So number one is United States, where majority of the players are, and number two outside of the United States is Rio. So I guess the opening of Rio have kept those players into the game and get them excited, and maybe they've all jumped in and they're all holding. And I'm not really sure what the floor and stuff is for Rio. I haven't really checked. I said I'll just kind of wait a little bit. Eventually, I'll put an eye over there to see what's going on, since everything's been released now, and probably people will be letting go properties at a more reasonable price. So so now, like I said, Upland is introducing this new funding that they want to do for the Upland pool, right? And it's something that they really need to do, because the amount of players that are coming into the game, this is what they're saying here, it's something they would have to keep it up to that level, right? As well as with Spark, they need to increase or mint more Spark because of factories, um, all these new structures that we're building, and everything else that they plan to bring into the game, racing, cars, all that stuff will need some sort of spark, right? To either produce the skins or to produce the products that will go in some of these vehicles that they're building. So Upland is looking to put more into the features of the game, which is really good, right? But they will have to increase the UPEX funding for their pool so they can do that. But one thing I wanted to really get to understand is, does the funds that they need from the UPEX pool, is that coming from the investors who put money into the game, and then Upland is gonna convert those fiat dollars into UPEX and then use it to market, create new features, and so on and so forth? That's one thing they never really explained in here, but I just try to really get a better understanding. So I had to read it multiple times. I even went back to the Upland white paper to kind of get a better understanding of what the Upland pool and how it works, right, and how the community pool works. The community pool right now is at like 87, is it billion, 87 billion, and the max is 100 billion. So right now they're not going to touch the community pool, because I guess the activities within Upland is enough to sustain that pool, and keep that going. So which is good. It's good to see that. So that means people are buying and selling and minting. Even when you mint a property, a lot of that UPEX, if I remember correctly, goes to the pool. So let me just check 1 second here. I'm back on the white paper. So yes. So for example, initial sale of property goes to the pool. Marketplace transaction fees goes to the pool. Other fees goes to the pool. Monthly minting per active user, all of that goes to the pool. So what comes out of the community pool to fund the Upland pool is earnings for owning properties in collection. Oh, that comes out to the players. One-time rewards for getting collections, that goes to the players, and this portion is goes to the Upland pool, the marketing and other types of campaigns. So that's what I had to go and look into to kind of get an understanding of what they were talking about, right? Because there's like a 50-50 split between the Upland pool and the community pool. So everything that goes in the community pool gets split up between Upland and the community, and get to use for all the necessary parts of the game. So yeah, so that's what I had. I had to kind of, oops, I just accidentally closed it. Had to go back into the game just so I could get, I mean, into the white paper, so I could get a better understanding of what the upland pool is versus what the community pool. So they will be, um, I guess, increasing features from for all these, like for the what would I say, the factories that are coming out, because the factories I'm seeing on Twitter, where there's an individual on Twitter who is kind of like saying, "Oh, Upland, you bring us these factories, but there's no use case at the moment. When is there going to be use case? You talk about it, but you don't really explain in detail what is going to be the use case for these factories." Well, it seems as if Upland is working on that right now. They're working on the economic part of it, so then they can introduce whatever feature or whatever tools or toys or gadgets that they decide that these factories will be able to produce. So it's something that it's going to be over a little bit of time, and we just have to be patient and trust in Upland to bring forth um what the game needs so it can progress even more. So yeah, so what else? Minting base active. Yes, so they will be minting more UPIX, which makes sense based on active users, right? So the new users coming into the game, right? They get a portion of the UPIX from the community pool. But as I kind of understand here, is that they will need to kind of increase that amount. So because the amount of new players that are coming to the game, because they want to make an equilibrium with the amount of UPIX in the game and the amount of new players coming into the game. And that's all because they start each player off by subsidizing these players and giving them UPIX just so that they can get into the game and possibly buy their first property and have some form of experience within this metaverse. So, it's something right now that they say at this point it's sustainable, but it's something they'll have to look at in the future. And also the monthly earnings, or not the monthly earnings. Let me just go scroll down a little bit more. Yes, so upland property earning adjustment. There will be no changes, so we still be getting our 14.7% on holding our property. So that is another amount of UPIX that will be coming from the community pool. So there's no changes to that, which is awesome. They will be increasing the amount of Spark available because of all the activities from the structures, manufacturing, MV motors, and stadiums that all require Spark to be built. So, so monthly active user, they are going to be minting per user, per active user of 0.004, and new uplanders they'll be minting 0.15. So more spark will be available. More spark will should be available for purchase. Because sometimes when they do have the spark sale, I always wonder, man, why is it such a small amount of spark when a lot of us uplanders need it to build structures, to build factories, and probably to contribute to building any of the stadiums or anything MV Motors is planning on doing. And another thing they did talk about is the governance and proposal and the voting system. So that is coming very soon. They're working on that. And the whole reason for that is to get a sentiment of what the community. So it's just the sentiment just means how we feel about the game, how we feel about the new features, how we feel about the earnings, and so on and so forth. So these votings will just to see how we feel, right? And based on the results of these votings is how Upland is going to make the changes that they need so that the ecosystem and the community can continue to grow. The game Upland can continue to grow, and eventually they want the opportunity, if Uplands to become more of a decentralized platform, it will be able to do that. So the self governance is something that will be more happening in the future. So once, at first I wasn't all for the voting and said I didn't really come out loud with this, but I said, I'm not going to take part. But now reading this economic update, I understand what the voting is going to be about. It's not going to be about something simple as possibly who can be in this community or the color of this or what it, I don't believe it will be about that. It will be about the game on an overall basis and keeping it eventually trying to make the system more self-governing in the future, and the players will be able to vote on proposals, and whatever determination that comes from that will eventually be implemented into the game. So you guys take a read and read it multiple times because there's a lot here. There's a lot to understand. You even have to go back to the white paper and kind of get the definition of what an upland pool is, a community pool, how it works, how everything um, how does everything get distributed, what's the threshold, and where they need to be so that the game can function and not have any issues with the economics, and keep it simple and efficient, right? And Upland wants this game to be more scalable. They have now kind of partnered with other meta ventures, or sorry, not meta ventures, other metaverses, to incorporate other things from other games, and that will increase the amount of new players within the game. So the whole minting of Upix and Spark is going to be needed on the Upland pool side because of the amount of new players that may be coming in to Upland once this OMA 3 gets on the way, and the guys who are a part of this meeting can all just be a part and work together, and whatever it is that they plan on doing when it comes to that. I don't really know too much about the OMA. It's something I will eventually have to look into. But this economic update is a clear understanding of what Upland has planned in the future. It's something that each individual, whether you watch this podcast or not, it would be something that you guys need to take some time and read. All right, here we go. Here's a question. I think I would like to get more upics for treasure. Well, that will be coming from the community pool. Like I've said earlier in the video, is that I did a video about markups and people selling properties too high. Yes, Upland still makes a fee off of each end, the buyer and the seller, but in order, I think, for them to increase the upex in the treasure hunting, is that I believe more sales, more transactions, and more activity has to take place to increase the community pool even more, so that Upland could probably make changes and distribute more rewards to the players. Right now, they're still at the 14.7. You're still getting, upics from treasure hunts. Depends on which city you're in. Maybe you should try like a tier 1 city. That's where you'll really get top notch upics, and you can earn a lot. There's a couple of guys that I follow on Twitter, and they're making over 100,000. And I think I'm lowballing this. They're making over 100,000 on treasure hunting alone. They've made couple millions. There's someone a couple weeks ago that won 3 million upics on the treasure hunt. So, and I'm sure that was in a tier one city. I think that was San Francisco. I can't remember right now. But these are the things that you'd have to do if you want more upics. Just get into the city where that are tier one, and so tier one cities would be LA. I think LA is a tier one city. San Francisco, Manhattan. I think Bronx. Right. Okay. You and I both. Yes, I'm in Cleveland too. Right. So I know there I won't be earning a lot of upics because I think Cleveland's like a tier four city. So the upics is a lot lower. Yes, you have to spend even more time treasure hunting in order to get great rewards. But you can if you keep at it. I would say don't stop. Just keep doing it. You have your 43 properties. You know, and don't really too worry too much. I know you have 43 properties, and if as far as I check on the stats of Cleveland, Cleveland's completely sold out. So if you decide to say move to a tier one city, you could probably make a huge profit on selling all 43 of those cities and say going to LA, which is about 68% sold out, and um it's 68% sold out, and buy up some properties there and treasure hunt there so you can earn even more upics in treasure hunting while the cost for sends in LA is nuts. Yeah, it is. But that's the cost in majority of the tier one cities. So the cost is equivalent to the reward. So if you want a higher reward, the cost of all these transactions are gonna cost you a little bit of money. But if you're comfortable using between 3 to 5 thousand upics per day or per week to do treasure hunts, and you want a higher reward, go to the tier one cities. You'll get that for sure. If you're okay and you're doing treasure hunts here and there, um, I got 70 properties in LA. I understand. And you see, the thing is, right? If Upland decides to start giving more reward for upics, they're definitely going to give it first and foremost to tier one cities and work its way down. By the time it reaches to Cleveland, it's only going to bump you up maybe a 5 or a 10%, right? So you want the rewards, you got to go where it's at. And there's even there's tons of players treasure hunting in LA, so it's even more challenging. That's why the rewards are what they are. So it's a give and take. You can't really expect to get upics for a lot of upics for treasure hunting in Cleveland when Cleveland's maybe only have, I don't know, less than 10 players treasure hunting at a time. I've done a few treasure hunts there, and a lot of the times it's about 8 or 9, and I'm the ninth guy, right? So yeah, it's just a give or take with this, but just check out this economic update right here. It's not gonna help your treasure hunt situation, but it will give you a better understanding of where the upics are going, where Upland will be focusing a lot on, and as far as I see it, um, more use for structures, more creation. I'm assuming content like us the players will be creating more, and so things are gonna happen. Things are about to happen. You just have to be patient. But like I said, just check it out, read it a couple times, click on the white paper. It's right here. It gives you every breakdown that you need. Um, it's something that you need to really, really take some time, even if you have a 20-minute break in your day, read it again, read it a third time, and try to really and truly understand what is happening here. But that's my take for from this economic update. And it's something that I'm happy to see. It's something I'm really happy that I get a chance to go through. I don't mind grinding, but right now it's just for Spark. Yeah, well, I think the grind for Spark is huge because, like, I'm trying to build as many structures as I am right now. I haven't missed on the sign-in bonus. I haven't missed a day, and if I have, it's because either I completely forgot because I was busy or tied up doing something else, or I just like whatever for today. But I don't. Other than that, and those are rare cases. I still don't miss because I'm always on it. So yeah, it does look good, and I'm like I said, I'm so happy that I took the time out to actually read this thing and try to grasp and understand. I read it multiple times, at least two times I read it. So, oh, you never? Wow, that's awesome, man. And up to three. That you got more than me, and I paid for Spark, right? So you got to keep treasure hunting. It will pay off. Like, I'm not. I think you said you were in the game for 8 9 months now or so. I can't remember exactly, but you keep your treasure hunting up, and you never know. You may be able to double what you have, and you probably won't need to buy any. But the direction things are going, we are going to need as much spark as we can get because it's going to be needed for structures, for stadiums, for showrooms, for ornaments, everything that Upland, all the features, any feature that Upland is coming out with will need Spark. And I'm sure all those individuals who bought their cars and are either racing or buy their semi truck to transport, I'm pretty sure you're going to need Spark to maybe recharge your vehicle or whatever it is. But those updates are yet to be added. We'll see what happens there. But guys, take a look at this update. It is well worth it. It's something as an uplander you need to look at and you need to understand what is happening and what are the future plans here in Upland. So, guys, okay, you started. Okay, so you started around the same time as me, right? I started in October as well. So, in 2 months, I will be a year in Upland. So, I have quite a bit of properties. I'm not going to be selling right now. There's something that I'm trying to work on. I'm going to see how well that strategy works in this game. Um, maybe my next video I'll talk about that. I was gonna talk about it today, but because this happened, I said, you know what? It's something that I gotta do a video on. So, all right, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Everyday Upland. If you guys like the content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Yes, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that share button and hit that notification bell, guys. And yes, focus on collections to get yield. I have to disagree with that. You can do that, but that's a luck of the draw unless you have an insight on what's going to be a collection or you're able to watch many of the YouTubers who talk and speculate about what's going to be a collection and you only take bits and pieces from them and those bits and pieces actually make you get some collections. If not all of them are collections, yes, you can work on your yield that way, but you can work on your yield by minting. But also there's other ways that you're able to earn yield. You could be just buying and selling properties to earn the yield in this game, right? So it's not something that you need to really focus. It's you don't necessarily need to focus on collections. It's great. It's like a good first step when you're coming into the game. But the longer you're into the game, you realize, especially with a lot of cities that are not fully minted, you're able to get in there and buy up properties that are even cheaper than the mint price and add them to whatever collections you want to add them to, and boost your earnings and so on and so forth, right? Yes, see, that's the thing. So you can go around, right? And either you use Upix land, or you just, yeah, most likely Upix land, or I would say that's a safe bet. There's no other or, right? Unless you're able to find, but you just go around and look for properties that are under mint. You look for the larger properties that people are not minting, and those are the ones you buy and hold for yield, and see if you can put them in the collections and see what you can get. Yeah, many ways to make it an Upland. Yeah, there is many ways. There's so much more to know, but for me, I'm starting to really get a complete understanding and a better grasp of the game, to the point where I right now I'm trying to increase my yield. I want to get it up to a point where I'm making at least 25,000 UPIX a week. Once I'm able to make that amount of UPIX per week, I'll be able to continuously grow my yield by whether, like, I don't care that I didn't get anything in Rio, right? The fact that I didn't get nothing in Rio, I didn't get the opportunity to flip. But that's fine. There's many other cities that have a lot of unminted properties, and you could buy a property for under 11,000 UPIX and earn 200 UPIX a month, right? You jump in with 150,000 and you buy up a couple of those properties, that will increase your yield quite fast every month. And you'll be able to now take the money or the UPIX that you earned from your yield and reinvest it back into other properties by minting new properties or buying properties under mint costs, and just adding them to your collection, and you'll be fine. I spent 200K in Rio and sold it all but three and made three. So yeah, see, that I felt that's what Rio was for the guys that are already in the game, because the earnings were like minuscule and it wouldn't have dented your UPIX holdings. I mean your monthly earnings at all. So Rio was one of those cities you go in, you spend whatever you can spend, and then you flip everything, come back out, get the hell out, go to one of those cities that you find some great properties. Like Jimmy said, he likes the larger ones, so he goes and he buys the larger ones that will be able to give him 3, 4,000 yield, 5,000. Because if he has 500,000, there's maybe one of these different cities he could probably buy two large properties that give him close to 3 to 4,000 UPIX per month, right? You wouldn't be able to get that in Rio because the earnings are so tiny. So, but I'm sure there's big properties there that you could have gotten a lot of UPIX for. But I haven't looked, so don't really quote me on what I'm saying right now. But yeah, that's how I see it right now in Upland. Big things coming. This economic update is something we all should kind of take our time and look into to get a better understanding of the game and what's coming. We are early adopters still in this game. We still have an opportunity to make quite a bit of money in real life in this game. How much it would take to quit here and go full time in Upland? Yeah, it would have to be like an Abdullah level, but at the same time, I'm not really gonna do that, right? Um, I try to diversify my life, so if I'm able to make, I don't know, let's say a quarter of what he makes is about about 8 million upics a month because he makes about 24 to 26 million. It could be more. That was the last amount I saw when I checked. So he makes, say I'm able to make 8 million upics a month. I'm not quitting my day job. Reason being is that a lot of these properties sometimes take time to sell, right? And time doesn't work in my favor when it comes to this game. If properties were selling a lot faster, then it would be something to consider. But if I had like 2,000 properties or 15,000 like Abdullah, and I put 5,000 up over a certain period of time, and that's enough for me to make a living, then sure, maybe, but at the same time, I would have to put up another 5,000 and wait another 6 months in order to get everything sold. So that's my thing with the game is that the speed of which to cash out if you want to cash out. And obviously you got to mark down your properties so they can cash out even faster. But I don't plan on quitting my day job to go full time in Upland. To me, that's too high of a risk, and that's not something. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay, all right. I think I've seen you on some board. I can't remember where, but I will. Where which city are you in currently right now that you're floating around in? Okay, see, then that is something that is perfect for you. You're in that position. You still have other incomes coming in from elsewhere, and that's great. That's oh, you're in Creedmoor. Okay, okay, yeah, that is almost. I thought Creedmoor was or Belrose was completely sold out, but and I checked it, they'd say it wasn't. So I don't really know. I don't see any properties there, but that's good. I'm all the way in Kansas. I'm trying to make some moves down there. Um, I'm happy to see that Queens is starting to sell out. A lot of the neighborhoods are starting to sell out. I have a nice handful amount of properties throughout, but it's mostly on the eastern side of Queens. Okay, oh, Cleveland. All right, that's cool. So I guess you do a lot of treasure hunting there. But yeah, guys, take some time, check it out, analyze, and possibly if you're able to be on somewhere a quarter of what Abdullah makes, maybe you'll be able to quit your day job. Oh, nice. I like that. Where in Canada are you? You can say Toronto, Vancouver. Oh, okay, nice, nice. I was supposed to come out to Vancouver last summer, but things didn't really work out. But that's a trip I'll be doing. I've been buying Queens and resell for USD when the price goes up. Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it. And there's other ways too. I'll be uploading I don't know, maybe I do maybe one or two. Oh, Vancouver Island. Oh, okay. Maybe I do one or two videos this month about what I'm doing. I can't say right now anything I've done has worked, but um yeah, but where? Right? Where will that be? You're the second Canadian that I know in the game there because even when I look at, for example, the analytics on YouTube, it's like minuscule. Like it's like 1/2%. The most it went to was like 3%, and then like 2 days it dropped to like 0.5% to the point it wasn't even showing anymore. So I don't know where the Canadians are if there's too many, but that would be awesome if we did have a Canadian node and we could have the flags on every house. Ah, that would be cool. Yeah, but that's something I will think about. you know what? To be honest, that's something I will think about. I don't know if it's going to be any of the current cities that we're in. Maybe any city in the future that has a Canadian name. Like, for example, a new city open and there's a neighborhood by the name of Toronto, or a neighborhood by the name of Vancouver, or a neighborhood by the name of Calgary, or whatever it is, maybe that would be the neighborhood I would get into and try and buy as much properties as I can there and possibly start a node, because I think that would be cool. And then we can name it the Canadian node, because at least then it would kind of make sense, right? So yeah, I will keep I'll keep my eye open. Oh, the Canadian release. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be between Vancouver and Toronto. Those two, Toronto, right? Vancouver or those will be the two, one or two. I don't know which one's going to go first. I have a feeling Vancouver will be the first one, then Toronto after. But yeah, it's coming. It's just a waiting game. We'll see. Hopefully, I'm prepared for that because I want to go all out. I actually want to visit Vancouver before they do decide to ever try to release that city. If they do, so at least I have some idea and some insights ahead of time, and I don't have to necessarily guess for collections. I can say, yeah, I feel it's this one, I feel it's this one, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we'll wait. We'll see what happens. I'll keep my eye out for a neighborhood that um, is named after one of our cities. And I'll make a video about it. If you do see that video, leave a comment and let me know if we're going to start a node there, because I'm going to go all in and just buy up as much as I can. All right, guys, I'm trying to get off. Thank you so much for taking part. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, guys, and see you next time. Good night.